What is a fucking terrorist? A fucking pedophile, sympathizing fucking terrorist.
It's not productive. It's kind of gross and icky. And I feel like it tells us more about them than the people they're trying to degrade. They're always trying to degrade someone.
Okay, welcome everyone. Let's do a sound check and see if everyone can hear me. All right, so let me know in the chat, but I'm glad to see everyone and welcome on in. Okay. Hey, we got a show tonight. We got a serious show, a show that I've titled Exposing Indiana's Pedophile Protectors and Dropbox Defenders, How an Online Team Controls Everything. Or Dr. Strangelove, How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. And we'll talk about that tonight. Now, this is not a show that I wanted to do or want to do. but it's a show I have to do because there's been some disturbing allegations thrown around in this community. And everyone has the right to defend themselves, especially when they're outright lies. And unfortunately, that's the environment we find ourselves in. Because we are dealing with a very large group of people who have everything to lose. And therefore, there are no limits that they're willing to go to silence people who have the potential of exposing them. And this campaign is massive, I've said so many times. You've got misinformation agents, disinformation agents. You've got terrorists operating online. You've got criminals, pedophiles, lawyers, feds. It's absolutely unconceivable or inconceivable. It's unimaginable. What you're finding yourself in the midst of with something as simple as discussing the Delphi murders. And I have tried all that I could over the years to maintain some sort of sanity, which is a rarity in this community, because you might notice that you're surrounded by people with very severe mental health issues. You might notice that there are people whose emotional and mental health issues have been exacerbated in this community, and they've been driven insane, driven off the case, frightened into silence, and all of the above. We've consistently displayed to you so many of the evidences of this campaign. I mean, I've showed you from every angle I've tried to show you. Whether it's the in-life stalking, the real-life stalking that goes on. Whether it's the terrorism by U.S. mail, which goes on to a handful of individuals in this community. Or even the weaponizing of law enforcement and the legal system against us, which I call lawfare, that goes on in this community. And it's very odd because it's always directed at a singular group, a very small group of individuals who all just happen to be highly independent. And for whatever reason, it's these independent good faith actors who seem to be the target of all these campaigns. I don't know. Can someone explain it to me? And so this has continued for years, you know. As many of us have come into this community new, we found ourselves surrounded by these people who at first love bomb you. They offer to assist you in all sorts of ways. They do whatever they can to gain your faith so that they can gain control of your channel. They use the concept of friendship and helpers and advocates as a way to censor your speech, to keep you on the rails, make sure you don't go off the rails, to get the wrenches in your channel, to control your channel, and to drive you insane with asking you to remove content from your channel should you post content that they don't agree with. They're also not beyond going into your entire families. Okay, so they'll go into your families. They will contact your family members. They will dox your family members after they dox you. And then they will go and dive deep into your family's social media history and use whatever they can dig up in your family's social media post going back 20 years, you know, your family's Facebook accounts and etc. And then they'll terrorize you with defaming, threatening, and exploiting your family members. And so this is what we're dealing with. It's a big deal. And anyhow, I feel like I've done so much work in showing all of that. I don't see how people can't see it anymore. It's really unfathomable to me that people would sit here and pretend not to be able to see it. But anyway, that's what it is. And I remind everyone, hey, we're here for one reason only, and that's those victims. We are here for those child victims. So why should it be all this? But it is. And everything I've tried to show you over this time has been in order to help you see what's really happening. Because if you care about these victims, you should see the narrative control campaign that's going on. So that you can see who's trying to perform this sleight of hand. Okay, this is sleight of hand. In other words, look over here, don't look over here, right? Sleight of hand. And that's the reason for the distraction and the discrediting and the preemptive discrediting and narrative twisting. It is what it is. But I'm here because if you guys were to go back to the start of this year in January, I began veering left a little in terms of more emphatically bringing to the forefront my feeling that Keegan Kline, the Dropbox, mentioned in his interviews, and the entire network tied to that is the elephant in the room in this case. It's that which shall not be uncovered. And I began saying that just over a month ago. And what's really appalling here is that in this month, the chaos has flamed up immensely, unexpectedly. And that's a fact. And as I mentioned, it's always a small handful that this group is trying to terrorize and push off the internet. And it's the handful of independents who actually think for themselves, who don't have any loyalty to any other individual or any group. The true independent voices out here, that's the ones they want gone. And this has been escalating for some time. And I've kind of kept quiet about it. But as I always mention, I document everything. And so because of that, I'm able to talk about it when I choose to. And so I'll talk about it tonight. And so on February 13th, 2026, just a week and a half ago, I decided to release a recording that I've been working on in speaking with Reese Davis, an individual who had spoken with Ron Logan and Keegan Klein, had pertinent, important information. I thought it was information I wanted to be able to present clearly, logically, and understandably, coherently. And I decided to release that on the anniversary, the 9th year, the anniversary of the murders of Abby and Libby, for the most part. And this comes after several weeks of me mentioning this Dropbox connection and my theory about it. And there was an immediate knee-jerk reaction, okay, and an immediate knee-jerk reaction. In fact, the very next day, there was a very vile and disgusting, slanderous live stream aimed at myself and others. And just like clockwork, this past Saturday, there was another vile and disgusting live stream aimed at myself and others. And I would predict that this is going to continue. And these individuals are perpetuating lies. And I want to ask you this. As a viewer of content regarding the murders of 2, or maybe you might even say 6 little girls, the Delphi and Flora tragedies, can you accept being lied to by the individuals who are presenting information to you as if it's fact? Would you want any individual presenting information about this crime or these crimes to lie to you about any facts about the crime? Any things that have gone on behind the scenes regards to their engagement with the community regarding this crime or these crimes? Or about other creators who are also covering these crimes and holding the responsible parties accountable, both the perpetrators and the individuals who have exercised this cover-up? No, you wouldn't want lies. It's why in this past couple years, I've been demanding that these lies stop. I've been holding accountable people in the community for blatantly lying to the viewers because it's something that I refuse to do. And it's something that I hold everyone to a high standard for, which is honesty and transparency. Don't lie to the viewers. Don't lie to the community. Don't manipulate the community. And unfortunately, you have a lot of individuals out here who are straight up lying to you. As a matter of fact, just in the past 48 hours, there have been several. And, I've called them the Uniparty. Because the odd thing here is that this is not really about guilt or innocence of Richard Allen. Remember the sleight of hand? That's the distraction. Look at guilt or innocence of Richard Allen, guilt or innocence of Richard Allen, guilt of innocence of Richard Allen, guilt or innocence of Richard Allen. Guilt or innocence of Richard Allen is the sleight of hand. The truth, the rock of truth, is what is being hidden by that distraction. So you got your troll farm, who essentially are behind everything. But you also have your controlled opposition. Your voice is out here who pretend to not be in collusion with these same parties, working on behalf of the same higher ups. But in reality, they're all working towards the same goal, which is protecting the truth of this crime, are covering the door that opens into the truth about this crime. And the victims of that are always us out here, the us independents, who hold loyalty to no one, beholden to no one, controlled by no one, fiercely independent. Adhering to evidence of truth. These are the ones they want. The independent thinkers, the rocks in this community. And so with these disgusting allegations, which I normally refuse to even address, I reached a point where I refuse to not address them anymore. Because I matter. My integrity matters. My life matters. And the truth matters. And tonight you'll learn it. You guys might remember this. This says Indiana State Police, Lafayette District. Detectives with the d0phiL investigation seek information while investigating the murders of Abigail Williams and Liberty German. Detectives with the Carroll County Sheriff's Office and the Indiana State Police have uncovered an online profile named Anthony_Shots. This profile was being used from 2016 to 2017 on social media applications, including, but not limited to, Snapchat and Instagram. The fictitious Anthony_Shots profile used images of a known male model and portrayed himself as being extremely wealthy and owning numerous sports cars. The creator of the fictitious profile used this information while communicating with juvenile females to solicit nude images, obtain their addresses, and attempt to meet them. Once again, please understand the words in this release. There are 3 points here. 1, solicit nude images. 2, obtain these juvenile females' addresses. And 3, attempt to meet with these juvenile females. Again, obtain or solicit nude images, obtain their addresses, and meet with them. It's an important point because some people will tell you there's no attempts to meet. No, this says attempt to meet with them. Pictured below, you'll see images of the known male model and images the fictitious Anthony_Shots profile sent to underage females. We've already identified the male in these images that were used by the Anthony_Shots profile. That male is in the photos is not a person of interest in the investigation. Detectives are seeking information about the person who created the Anthony_Shots profile. Investigators would like any individual that communicated with, met, or attempted to meet Once again, what are they asking for? They're asking for any individual who communicated with, met with, or attempted to meet with. Again, this is the second time the concept of attempting to meet the victims has surfaced in this particular press release. We would like any individual communicated with, met, or attempted to meet Anthony Schott's profile to contact law enforcement. Please provide as much information as you possibly can. For example, when you communicated with Anthony Schatz, how you communicated with the profile, what social media applications the account used, and if, once again, Anthony_Schatz attempted to meet you or obtain your address. If you have saved images or conversations with the Anthony_Schatz profile, please attach them to your email. You might remember I've shown this dozens of times. In the conversation with Keegan Klein, Bud, from your Dropbox account off your phone, we have started one of the largest child pornography investigations ever undertaken in the state of Indiana. Sorry, a moment. Having a little problem with my mouse. Okay. Here, is it accurate to say that there was confirmation that there were communications between Anthony Schatz and Liberty German leading up to February 13th of 2017? Yes, sir. And even on that day, yes, sir. Do you believe that Keegan Klein was the communicator, at least on the Anthony Schatz end, for the most part? Do you believe that there may have been more than one communicator? It's possible. And would the other communicator have been his father? Tony Klein, yes. Whom he lived with? Correct. Line number 23. So Tony Klein was also kind of consumed into this investigation along with his son, Keegan. Is that correct? That's correct. It would appear that according to the Indiana State Police, the answer to the questions in that press release are Keegan and Tony Klein. Is that not clear to everyone? So what I didn't say to you, or haven't yet, is that I've been the recipient of several threats in the past month since I've been discussing or bringing to the forefront this Dropbox information. I've had several threats, some of which you'll see tonight, some of which you won't. coming from some very unstable and scary individuals. I tried my best not to come on and discuss these threats. But in the effort to defend myself, it's necessary to show you these threats. These are text messages from Rick Snay. Dude, there is absolutely no proof whatsoever that Tony Klein was going around selling child porn to politicians. What you're doing is absolutely no different than what the troll farm did to you. Whatever this guy wants to say about Keegan, fine. He's a convicted predator and known pedo. But there's never even been the suggestion of his dad selling child porn. Why would you go along with this? You said you believe Tony is a pedophile partly because Keegan said it, right? And why would a son say that about his dad if it wasn't true? I'm sure you're aware your son, Donovan, made the same accusation of you and your brother. It's in the court filings. I have the proof. I'm not planning on using it, so please don't make me. A couple days later, your son told the court you raped him. And he also said your brother, Dan, raped him too. Now run your mouth all you want. I have right here on this phone, I can show where when I was first shown in the actual court documents from the state of Colorado, what his son was charged with and what his son was said about, being raped by his dad and uncle. So these are very disgusting allegations. How would any of you feel out there if I accused you and your sibling of raping your child or children? And how would you feel if I claimed that I had the proof and it's in the court documents? How would you feel if I was telling this to 6,000 to 8,000 people on the internet? So I asked a couple of friends, would you please do me a favor? Go ask for that proof. Go ask for that proof that I am absolutely positive doesn't exist, that I know doesn't exist, that there's no way on earth exists in the court documents. And so a couple of my friends did go and ask for the proof. One friend of mine received a non-response. And the other friend of mine received a very interesting response. And that response was, I don't have the proof. It was just something I was told. Which means you lied. Wasn't the quote I have right here on my phone in the court documents what his son said about being raped by his dad and his uncle? Well, funny thing is, I have the proof. So you guys want to see what the court documents are? Do you guys want to see the court documents? The alleged court documents of this slanderous campaign? Well, here's the first one. This is Rick Snay emailing with Gibbo. You know Prof's son is a pedophile. You know Prof raped him. You've seen the documents. It's just something I was told. Okay, by Gibbo. Okay. Okay. The worst individual in the entire community who's already been kicked out and ostracized of several other communities for similar behavior. This is your source. But even better than that. What some people don't realize is I pay attention. I actually know the true source of this information. And I'm going to help you guys out right now. June 9th, 2025. June 9th, 2025. Anthony Greeno. The Prof, oh wow, a police interview of you regarding CSAM. False, never happened. Make one more post about anyone, and I mean anyone. I'll show everyone what you said in the interview, which never happened. So your adult son, had a problem with child porn. He told investigators that you abused him sexually as a child, and you never actually denied it to the cops. You threw your son under the bus to make yourself seem not guilty. You are a child predator, and you make one more post, and I'm showing your house, family, and your police interview and all court documents related to the case. Believe me, we got it. June 9th, 2025. That's your source of this entire slanderous campaign. Anthony Greeno. And you see what happens once these campaigns get rolling, they continue. June 18th, 2025. The Prof, skeletons involving child crimes in the sexual nature within his own home. Son claims father abused him as a child. Son claims father abused him as a child. Troll account. Robin slept with his son. It's okay. I got an interview from your son saying you raped him. Greeno and I spoke to your ex-wife, and she confirmed you raped Donovan. So we will now be airing that interview. The Prof is a chomo. The Prof raped my baby. My child was raped in 2005 by Robin Boudreaux. in a Macy's shoe department fitting room. Luke Nicholas, March 2024, says you should sit this one out. You're not going to grift off my back anymore. Was it a judge or a DA you wrote to have your son's pizza delivery case sealed so it wouldn't hurt your YouTube channel? Doxing my son and myself. I'll be frank. It's not trolling when it's facts. Donovan is a pedophile and admitted that Prof raped him. Sunday, May 25th, 2025. Prof isn't a retired teacher. He's literally God-stricken, and his colleagues all stated before the allegations of his son that they didn't feel safe leaving children around him. And FYI, he was not a part-time supply teacher, not a full-time, and not a PhD student in physics. Research is key when watching creators. Know who you're watching. Which we're going to get into the second allegation, which is the attempt to sabotage my career. And so what you're seeing here is a long series of communications between Rick Snay and Gibbo, okay? Okay, sorry. We're taking this in phases, but here the campaign is stating Prof raped his son. Prof's brother raped his son. It's in the court documents. It's in the police interviews. We have the evidence. We have the footage, and we're going to show it. Going back a year. Do you really think if that evidence existed, it wouldn't have been posted in 2025? Can't post what doesn't exist. But you see, this is an effort, and it's two-folded. So first, let's talk about the first aspect here. The first aspect here is to make you a sexual abuser of children, so no one listens to you, because we're talking about a case in which likely sexual abuse of children was happening, which ended up having these girls targeted and murdered, the Delphi murders. So the way to silence someone speaking out about this aspect of the case is to allege that they're a sexual predator, a child molester, and that you have proof in the court documents. But you see, notice that this ramps up when I start focusing on the Dropbox of Keegan Kline and the potential involvement of the Klines in Delphi. You guys might remember this. When Noe was in Miami County Jail, he got a statement from someone who was housed with Keegan Kline. So let me read this statement over for you. Even though it's on my community page, anyone can go see it. He always kept asking us stuff about his computer. He was really worried about the detectives getting into it. One day they came and grabbed him, and when he came back in, he told us he had multiple counts of child solicitation. During the time together, he told me that his dad was really good friends with Libby's parents. He admitted he knew the little girls and said him and his dad had been questioned about the case because they had family friends in Delphi. He said his dad had a hog farm in Delphi, and him and his dad would often go to Delphi because they had people working for them and they sold hogs to packers. He said that the police had searched the hog farm looking for clues. What people didn't know is that after the crime was committed, they went to Vegas to hide and get away from Indiana. He moved in with his friend Dirk to get away from Indiana. He told me there was another person involved with his dad in the crime. He told me there was another person involved with his dad in the crime. There was one time when we were in the block, he was talking to someone about it, and I looked over at him and I could see no remorse. So when they said KK had said his dad owned a pig farm, of course Keegan didn't mean Tony. Duh, his stepdad owns a pig farm. And he didn't move in with his girlfriend when he came back from hiding in Vegas with large amounts of money Tony Klein was giving him to stay away. Yes, over $20,000. Over $20,000. He moved in with his mom and stepdad who owned the pig farm. Remember, he helped work on the pig farm. So what are you getting into, Prof? What we're doing here is we're stepping into the uniparty narrative control campaign, and I want you guys to pay very, very, very close attention to what you're going to see now. The Dropbox is a dead end, not subject to investigation without people's lips moving. Is there even a Dropbox? We got nothing on a Dropbox. These are cranks, okay? These are cranks. These are your controlled ops, right? Nothing on a Dropbox don't exist. Is there even a Dropbox? Dead end. I keep seeing people say that evidence points to Keegan Klein being involved in the murders. Please tell me what evidence you're talking about. What case could be made that doesn't involve taking someone's word for something? Anthony Schatz talking to Libby on Snapchat the day they were killed. I was supposed to meet her, but she never showed up. Also, show me the proof that he talked to her that day. That's never been proven either. Something simply being repeated over and over the internet does not make it true. Show me the proof that Keegan said that. Did Keegan Kline ever admit he actually participated in this crime? I mean, that he knowingly, willingly played some role in this crime? Yes. Tell me what that admission was. He admitted to setting the meeting up with his dad and the guy in Delphi. He changed his story and said it was him and his dad. He said he rode over to the bridge and his dad went to meet the girls. He also said they threw some items off the bridge. He admitted to being Anthony Schatz and communicating with the girls and setting the meeting up. Do you have any doubt in your mind that he was Anthony Schatz? No. Heads or tails? Sorry, just give me a moment. Here's the next one. Is it accurate to say that there was confirmation that there were communications between Anthony Schatz and Liberty German leading up to the 13th of February 2017? Yes, sir. And even on that day, yes, sir. Do you believe Keegan Kline was a communicator, at least on the Anthony Schatz end? For the most part. So now we're going to circle back. Remember, I said that the effort here is to turn me into a victimizer of children, a child rapist of my own child, so that you don't listen to me. Okay? Well, what's the other flip side? The other side is ruin my career. Not only are you a child rapist of your own child, but you abused other children in your role as an educator. Therefore, you can't teach anymore because you're a danger to children. You were asking him over in the chat the other day why he couldn't teach anymore. Let's go ahead and answer the question. Why can't he teach anymore? I heard it was because he lost. I mean, there's lots of stories going around. The one that seems to be going around the most is that he lost his temper with a student and got fired. And now because of his son's record, he can't get rehired anywhere. That story's going around on the streets. But I mean, I haven't bothered to check it because, you know, I have a life. Child rapist, child abuser, abuser of students. Threats of violence. My boyfriend at the time was a border patrol agent and had been an LA County sheriff That's how him and I met. And then you've got, they're also federal agents. They're bros, You know what I mean? Like they got that bro culture. Because I worked for the federal government too. Now, sorry, that one's out of order. We'll circle back to this. But I want you to see now where this comes from, because remember, I said there's two sides to a coin, right? There's two sides to this coin. Side one is child rapist of his own child. Side two is abusive teacher who cannot teach anymore. Gibbo, the prof, want to play a game? Why was the chomo fired from his job? Because he lied about his chomo son. You go for anyone else, I come for you, chomo. The prof, if you post anything about anyone, I'll post your article, you slating your pedo son and all your working past about what your colleagues call you, pervy prof. This is interesting. Why would our prof be the only staff member to not have their license renewed to teach children? Surely he wasn't a danger to those kids. There was a pedophile living in his home after all. And Gibbo noted another connection between Robin and someone cut up in sex crimes. Maybe a brother? Erica, the PI that was sacked on Delphi, is now proudly working with the sex offender, Robin. Not only is she working with him, they are both the same. Her own words. Did Baldwin sack her because she was a sex offender too? A family of pedophiles groomed together. Remember, folks, Robin brought chomos into this, and now we know why he's obsessed with them. If anyone shows up at my house, I will decorate my drive with their brain matter. He was going on and on about how poor I was. At the same time, someone was trying hard to break into my checking account. We're going to circle back to that too, because suddenly I'm not only a child rapist, but I'm a negligent, abusive teacher who cannot work anymore. And now I'm a thief who's hacking bank accounts. Now, I'm going to come back to this one in a moment, but I want you to see it. I'm going to light this bitch, Erica, on fire when I'm live with Snay on Saturday. When I'm telling you this was planned, okay? This was planned. This was planned. I want her address. Same individual. So, prof, you tried to break into my bank accounts and my credit union that holds the deed to my house. Now someone has tried breaking into my X account and changed the passwords. I don't know, but if you're using your skills obtained as a minimum wage civil servant at Social Security office, I have talked with a police officer from your local police department, and he knows exactly who you are. I emailed him all the proof of what you're trying to do, and he is documenting everything. My next phone is to my brother-in-law, a Riverside County Sheriff deputy. My bank account got flagged for fraud and I had to replace a bunch of stuff. 2 days later in his life, he said he was going to prove I'm poor. So I'm assuming it's him. So what is this we're looking at? What is that? What is that we've just looked at? Child rapist, abusive teacher who can't work anymore because he got fired for whatever the accusation was, and now he can't ever work again, and it's just the word on the streets though. And now trying to steal money from my bank account and trying to hack my credit union and trying to hack my Twitter and worked at the Social Security office. What? Hello. How am I a teacher and also working at the Social Security office at minimum wage? Can someone explain that one? But this is what a smear campaign looks like, is it not? But it's interesting that someone with ties to several federal agencies, Homeland Security, Border Patrol, Customs, sheriffs, with federal agent boyfriends and bros, we got a lot of federally connected individuals directly under the employ and directly related to high federal positions. This is why when you look at the thumbnail, I put in DC connections there. Why is a team of people so fixated on making outright false, slanderous statements to try to turn people away from listening to the things that I have to say, my opinion, on the Delphi murders here on YouTube? You can see here, Tuesday, January 24th, 8 days ago, 2 weeks ago, okay? 8 to 14 days, which would have been the first week of February. This is exactly what chomos look like. Did you crack open the pedophile ring yet? Let me guess, it's connected to Epstein. You don't say. Good luck with that. Saturday, February 7th. I realize you're going through a lot in your life, Prof, but as far as our beef, it could all go away instantly by sending me one band that's $1,000 to my Cash App. This will all go away if you send me $1,000 to my Cash App. I'll pull it all down immediately and you'll never hear from me again. If not, I'll continue this campaign and we'll continue to generate duplicates to share on all platforms. Is that extortion? Is this extortion? $1,000? And you see, I start talking about Anthony Shots. I start talking about the Dropbox. This entire wave of threats begins. Think about it. And as I thought about this, I started to remember other things in the past that were similarly bizarre. Like this. They had a good time. Listen to Murder Sheet's latest podcast. Go to the 1:10:25 mark and listen for Ein's description or Anya's description of what Keegan Kline said about the day the two kids were slaughtered in Delphi. They had a good time. They is not Keegan Kline talking about both he and his dad having a good time. They had a good time. That's what Keegan Kline, who stated he waited in a vehicle for 2 hours at the back of the cemetery, said his dad told him when he got back to their vehicle that was parked on the old Delphi cemetery covered in blood. So what does the word they matter? Or why does the word they matter? It matters because Keegan Kline told Detective Vito and Carroll County Prosecutor Nick McClellan at the August 18th, 22 meeting at Grissom Air Force Base that his dad said they had a good time before anyone knew anything whatsoever about Richard Allen. The they implies there was someone else back there at the murder scene. They had a good time. That's what Keegan Kline told law enforcement. That's some incredibly inflammatory, detailed description of what Keegan Kline told law enforcement. And let's keep in mind that Keegan Kline implicated himself in the murders of Libby and Abby on August 18th, 2022. First question, Vito and McClellan are going to ask Keegan Kline, who is they? Who do you think is they? I'm a fairly educated man. I'm going to guess it's none other than Richard Allen. Why do I guess it's Richard Allen? The fire pits, that's why. It's all in the fire pits. I can't stress the importance of looking where those Indiana State Police investigators were looking just prior to showing up at Richard Allen's house on October 13th, 2022. They were in Keegan Kline's grandmother's backyard fire pit, garbage pit, or whatever you want to call it, where people burn stuff in their backyard. So where do the Allen's neighbors see those ISP investigators looking? That fire pit in the middle of his backyard. And it's not just that fire pit. They are intensely focused on that pile of ashes found hidden beneath his backyard shed. Who told law enforcement to look at those two backyard fire pits? Who knew they burned bloody evidence behind those two homes some 40 miles apart? Who knew there were not one but two killers that day in Delphi? Right now, he's safely locked away for having pled guilty to 25 counts of CSAM and obstructing justice by having deleted those Snapchat messages to Liberty German. That day, both she and Abby were never seen alive again. Of course, I'm just speculating on those other actors that Carroll County prosecutor told Judge Gull about shortly after Richard Allen's arrest. Doug Carter told us it's all complex and has tentacles. Speculation. Well, here. So why am I showing you this? I'm showing you this because this is spin. This is what spin looks like. Do you understand what I'm pushing here? This is spin. This is a narrative control campaign. You're taking something that's a thread to pull on and spinning it. This is the sleight of hand, remember? The sleight of hand. Here's more sleight of hand. Recently, the defense filed a motion stating an inmate named Reese Davis said Ron Logan and Keegan Kline both confessed to being involved in the murders. I am able to send messages to Keegan Kline since I interviewed him a few years ago, so I contacted him to let him know what Baldwin wrote in the filing that Davis allegedly stated. Keegan replied, and the summary is he talked to Davis maybe 2 times. Davis is stupid and contacts prosecutors on different cases to lower his prison time. Keegan said he never knew who Ron Logan was until people told him. Davis stated Keegan told him he taught Ron how to use burner phones for CSAM every 36 months. I know Keegan isn't known for telling the truth, but he essentially denied what Davis and Baldwin are claiming. So you have Tom Webster here with the spin. It's the gentle nudging of a narrative because people will believe you if you just say it. Remember, let's go back to this one. Who's this guy? This guy was a highly respected voice in the Delphi community, right? And who's this guy? This guy's a highly respected voice in the Delphi community, right? All they have to do is just nudge that narrative a little. And here's another one. Okay, so I have a connection to someone who was on the jury. She said there's a gag order until December, and then we will all hear so much more. Now, I've been on Team Innocent 95% of the time. So I asked why the heck they found him guilty. And she said the jury found out Richard Allen and Keegan Kline interacted. They think maybe Kline told Allen the girls were going to the trail that day. Now, we had to stop talking, and I heard nothing more. My question, why wasn't that presented in court then? I wonder. I didn't get the opportunity to ask, but I'm wondering how the jury found this out, and we didn't. Now I'm starting to change my mind. Notice it's posted anonymously, right? What is this? Who is this? Is this true? Did someone go to the jurors off the record and make the bold claim that Richard Allen and Keegan Kline interacted? Please think about this one. This one is a big one. This is a big one. I have a connection to someone on the jury. She said there's a gag order. I asked why they found him guilty, and she said they found him guilty because the jury found out Richard Allen and Keegan Kline interacted, and they think Kline told Allen the girls were going to the trail that day. Well, you know how we know that's absolutely false? Just give me a moment. I'll bring up the slide. Did you learn at some point in time that Mr. Allen or his wife lived somewhat near Tony Kline on 2nd Street in the same neighborhood? I wouldn't say in the same neighborhood, somewhere relatively close, 5-minute drive or so, yes. And is it fair to say that you were never able to actually connect Mr. Allen or his wife to the Kline family? Objection. Overruled. Let me ask it again. Is it accurate to say that you were never able to connect Mr. Allen or his wife with the Kline family? We interviewed multiple people that in their mind said there was no doubt that they knew each other, but we were not able to find anything to prove that they were together at one point, that they were associated on a consistent basis or anything like that. Correct. And was there never any kind of digital communication recovered that suggested that there was a connection between the Kleins and the Allens? Not that we recovered, no. So once again, was there never any kind of digital communication recovered that suggested there was a connection between Kleins and Allens? No. All right, sorry about this. Taking me a moment. So what is this then? So what is this? Is this jury tampering? Question. Is this jury tampering? Listen to the quotation. The jury found out Richard Allen and Keegan Klein interacted. They think maybe Klein told Allen the girls were going to go to the trail that day. We know that's false because listen, David Vito himself says we could not connect the Allens to the Kleins. Although we had multiple people who in their mind said there was no doubt they knew each other, there was never any evidence that we could connect Kleins and Allens. Sounds like jury tampering. And then we have some anonymous person coming to Facebook, all right, to now spread this thread onto Facebook. Now I'm starting to change my mind, you know? Oh, okay, I see what this is. Just give me a moment, please. I got to take care of some housekeeping. Hold on. Okay. Now, next thing. I'm going to show you now some very compelling evidences of uniparty affiliations. Because I guarantee you, this entire thing with Rick Snay right now, it's coming from one place only. And you guys need to absolutely put on your thinking caps. This entire thing with Rick Snay targeting me right now to silence me about Tony Klein, it's being instigated by the troll farm. Okay? Keep that in mind. So I'd like you to bring back in your memory, right? Go back in your memory to the very first thing that I showed you. which was this right here. Troll farm. You know Prof's son is a pedophile. You know Prof raped him. You've seen the documents. This is Rick Snae's source. Okay. So we got Snae associating with Gibbo, Troll Farm. We got Shaboogies, Shaboogers, Shaboogs. That's right. Right here you'll see Gibbo, Jinx, Ruckus, Shaboogies. Gibbo, Jinx, Ruckus, Shaboogies on panel. This is Uniparty. Just think about who's on the most vicious attack right now. The vicious attacks directed at the prof, at Erica Morris. Who's behind that? What do we have here? Curious Luke. Hey, Jinx 13. He has to blank out the damaging bits. So we got Gibbo, Jinx 13, Curious Luke. Gibbo, Jinx 13, Curious Luke. Gibbo, Curious Luke, Jinx. This is called 1,000 hours, one more life. Okay? 1,000 hours, one more life. Gibbo, Jinx, Luke. Gibbo, Jinx, Luke. Jinx 13, don't forget his reviews of his own replay, though. Those are fire. Okay. Here we got Gibbo, Jinx, Paulie Walnuts, Luke. Is Noe Alex's nickname for Adrian's Whack Noe? Luke, Paulie Walnuts, Jinx 13, Gibbo. Curious Luke, Paulie Walnuts, Gibbo. Dawn Toretti. Curious Luke, Paulie Walnuts, Gibbo. Jinx. Bossy. Oh, before I move to that, let me show you this one. Delphi, an adult discussion, an entire other live stream. Gibbo, Curious Luke. Shaboogs, the killer of the girls is in Keegan Klein's Dropbox. Oh, lol. The killer of the girls is in Keegan Klein's Dropboxes. Lol. What do we have here? What do we have here? Streets of Bakersfield. Streets of Bakerfield. So who do we have here? Gibbo, Jinx, Rescue All the Dogs, Streets of Bakersfield. Frank Meister. Really? Streets of Bakersfield, Gibbo, Jinx. Here's more slander. His dad had a business and Prof became part of it. False. Ran it into the ground. False. Now his dad has to beg for odd jobs on Facebook. Yes, because he had a traumatic brain injury when he fell off a second level of a scaffolding onto concrete, you psychopath. But who do we have here? Streets of Bakersfield. Gibbo. Frank Meister. Are you getting it yet? So what's my problem with all of this? Well, let's see. The loudest voices right now who are making all of these false allegations, who are going on all of these personal attacks and smear campaigns and outright lies. I raped my son. My brother raped my son. I can't teach anymore because I did something wrong to a student. I work for the Social Security office. There's nothing wrong with the Dropbox. There is no Dropbox. All of these people who are the loudest voices right now screaming these things, one big happy family, the Uniparty. And what's bad about it? Well, what's bad about it is the effect, because there are people out here who will believe what you are saying, like this one that I've highlighted. Meanwhile, his kid is prosecuted as a pedo and telling the court that his dad molested him. Good Lord, thank you for exposing the truth. Thank you for exposing the truth. The truth or lies? Rick Snay lied to you. And it's not the first time, because I've been keeping my mouth shut for quite a while about something. From Rick Snay to snooze at AOL.com. Here's the crime scene photos. October 11th, 2023. I never sent anyone the crime scene photos. Except Julie Melvin. But then, Rick, you accused Julie Melvin of stealing the crime scene photos from your phone by airdropping them to herself. Do you not realize that Julie forwarded me the email to prove to me what was true and what was not? So what is this all about? On March 22nd, Sharon Chappell contacted our team with information about two cases: the hit and run death of Tara Stevens, the Dropbox account owned by Keegan Klein, a suspect in the Delphi murders. Sharon drove to Michigan City from her home in Corbin, Kentucky, and met with a member of our team. The meeting took place in an office on West 8th Street. Sharon spent several hours providing a recorded statement about an individual who was reportedly driving his black GMC Terrain the night Tara Stevens was hit, which had a front end damage the following morning. That information had already been given to the Michigan City Police Department. They interviewed the man and cleared him almost immediately, reportedly due to his connections to several high-profile bar owners in the community. The second portion of her tip involved the Anthony Shots profile. In December 2021, the Indiana State Police put out a public request for more information about the username attached to several social media accounts, which was found to have hundreds of thousands of CSAM images inside a Dropbox. Various individuals are known to have accessed that account throughout the years, from uploading images of sex abuse of children to videos of them being abused, to men throughout Indiana and beyond accessing the encrypted files to purchase said photos and videos. A man named Keegan Klein had already been arrested for producing and distributing these materials. Klein had been in contact with Liberty German through Snapchat and was scheduled to meet German and Abby Williams on the Monon High Bridge in Delphi at 2 p.m. on February 13, 2017, just 13 minutes before the girls were abducted. Chappell insisted child exploitation and human trafficking was taking place at two LaPorte County establishments. She provided names, dates, and specific details that led our experienced team to believe she was telling the truth. Sharon also took photos of certain items in hopes she could convince someone in law enforcement to act on this information. The name she provided as being responsible for these crimes against children was LaPorte resident Anthony Biller. Biller died in 2025, reportedly from cancer, which now allows us to share with you the details of these allegations. On March 10th, 2022, an email was sent by a member of our team to Unified Command. The task force was responsible for investigating the Delphi case. The name of the business owner, along with Biller and Chappell, were provided to the task force, along with the hopes of taking down child predators in Michigan City and LaPorte. However, that's not what happened. Unified Command, led by Lieutenant Jerry Holman, buried this tip and never provided it to Richard Allen's defense team. When we were tapped unexpectedly to work on Allen's defense in 2023, we searched 87,000 tips for this email and nowhere to be found. Based upon new information provided us recently as September 2025, we now believe former LaPorte County Sheriff's Deputy Neil Lockman was part of this same child exploitation network. After Lockman's plea deal, a member of our team exposed this tip with the names redacted on the Delphi Dirt podcast. 8 days after that tip was exposed, Sharon Chappell was driven into Lake Michigan by 63-year-old Mark Garola of Michigan City. According to our sources, Garola remains hospitalized in Chicago and is not expected to regain consciousness. After Sharon's death, we removed the redaction from her name and began fighting for her justice. That was the deal. Sharon made me promise that if anything ever happened to her, I would fight like hell to expose what she knew about child exploitation and trafficking in Michigan City and LaPorte and not let her death be in vain. And here's a copy of the tip, and you can see it's sent to the Abby and Libby tip line here in the to section here, from victimsnewsonline.com to Abby and Libby tip at Carroll County Sheriff's Office.com. Anthony Shots profile. Good morning. In the course of investigating the hit and run death of Indiana resident Tara Stevens, our team came across information we feel your task force needs to have. Allegations have been made by two former employees of Redacted in Michigan City involving potential child exploitation and trafficking. The primary individuals involved are owners, investors. Redacted. The housekeeping staff claims that they were called in several times in the middle of the night to the Redacted to clean up rooms not registered to customers and found certain items of concern. Soiled blood, twin mattresses stacked up against the walls. The rooms only have king and queen beds, along with soiled underwear and jeans that look like they belong to a young male. Former staff also reported hearing statements such as no, 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 and you're not done yet. The clientele at Redacted reportedly consists of many single upscale men with out of state plates. We are told they book rooms and leave in the middle of the night. That's when they were reportedly called in to clean the rooms. A second employee contacted the family of Tara Stevens, but is too afraid of Redacted to speak to our team on the record. However, Redacted are involved in both the Redacted, and staff feels something sinister could be taking place at both establishments. When staff confronted Redacted with these concerns last year, it was reported Redacted removed the mattresses from the upstairs rooms the same day and an apartment belonging to his alleged boyfriend, owner Redacted. The mattresses were then reportedly taken to Redacted, LaPorte, Indiana, where they were then placed in a burn pile and burned. However, one staff member, Sharon Chappell, was staying at Redacted's home and claimed she and a friend went to the burn pile where they also found rope and a children's sized chair. Redacted has no young children in his household. Furthermore, Chappelle believes Redacted could be involved in the Anthony Shots profile, although our team has yet to find any direct connection for Redacted to that username. She is adamant that she has heard that name before, a reference to his first name and bar association. As you can see, for the past month exactly, I have been exclusively focusing in this direction. Indiana, a sanctuary for pedophiles. What is it all about? I mean, what is it about all this? Keegan Kline, CSAM, and the infamous Dropbox of Indiana. The good old boys and terrorist troll farm system of North Central Indiana. Reese Davis whistleblows on the Delphi murders. The Prost birthday stream, and reviewing the aftermath of Reese Davis's most recent disclosures on my channel. Does it make a little more sense as to what's happening out here? When you see people being targeted, you should step back and take a broader view and look at who's being targeted and try to understand or reason as to why they're being targeted, especially in such a vile and disgusting manner, by people who are all associating with one another. Remember, Are you seeing a common thread here? You know what I haven't shown you, but I have the receipt too? Can I get a drum roll? Do I have a drum roll in here anywhere? Do I have a drum roll? I don't.
Bruh. Oh my God.
I don't have a drum roll, but R&M Productions has been directly colluding with Gibbo. The common thread is a troll farm colluding with the cranks. R&M Productions, Luke Nicholas, Shiboogies, Rick Snay, Keith, Streets of Bakersfield, all colluding together to take down the prof. And I have the receipts. And why? Why? Is it worth alleging that someone raped his own child because you don't like what they have to say about the Delphi murders? This has become Indiana's pedophile protectors and Dropbox defenders. This is an online team that controls everything. And why? At different times during the hearing, the state of Indiana prosecutor McClellan spoke the following words as it relates to the potential for third-party culpability. This is still a very ongoing investigation. Our goal is to find anyone else who was involved in this heinous crime. We have good reason to believe that Richard Allen is not the only person involved in this case, that there may be other actors involved.
Oh my God.
This is from defendant supplemental submission regarding state's motion in limine. On August 29th, 2023, in a video entitled Delphi, the Storm is Coming, Ruckus Rocks makes the following statements. I just want to jump on and let everyone know that this stuff's coming to a close. There are more than one person involved with this case. It's not just Richard Allen. There's several others, and we've all seen them on TV and been interviewed and spoken about way back in the beginning. Law enforcement is known about these people, but they have to methodically build a case. Information, you guys are going to be shocked at not only who's involved, but the age range of the people that are involved with this. It's crazy. I know names. I know who's involved with this case. I know basically what happened, how it happened, where it happened, and why it happened. So stay tuned because it's crazy. It's crazy. It's a sad state of affairs. It's very premeditated, very premeditated. And there's many people involved in this, both online and physically involved. So what happened? What happened to these other actors? Let's see. People from the very beginning who have been interviewed, you'd be very shocked at the age ranges. Who was interviewed in the beginning? Let's see. Ron Logan. Keegan Kline. Did the troll farm become aware of Reese Davis's information back in 2022, 2023, when Richard Allen was first arrested? And were they convinced of all of that between Keegan's statements and Ron Logan's statements? See, I've changed my mind in time. Seems like others have as well, hasn't it? So if Richard Allen is a lone wolf killer, if the Dropbox had nothing to do with it, if Keegan Kline and Ron Logan had nothing to do with this, if some of the Vinlanders had nothing to do with this, if no one else had anything to do with this, then why this campaign? Why not let us talk about the Dropbox like a bunch of idiots, a bunch of conspiracy theorists? What's the harm? Why the threats? Why the blackmail? Why the extortion? Why the slandering and the defamation and the false accusations? Looks like you're defending the Dropbox and protecting the pedophiles. Remember, I said this is sleight of hand. This is sleight of hand. Distraction, discrediting, defamation, slander, attacks, harassment, threats, doxing, extortion, blackmail. Don't look here. Don't look at the Dropbox. Don't talk about Keegan and Tony Kline. There is no biggest CSAM investigation in Indiana history. Well, I predict that very soon you'll all be learning different. So I'll ask all my viewers, hey viewers, go ask for this proof in the court documents. Go ask for the proof from these bad actors. If I have 1,000 views on this video, I should have 1,000 people going to ask these individuals for this so-called proof. I have the proof. You raped your son and your brother raped your son. I have the proof. It's on my phone. It's in the court records. We've seen the documents. Greeno, I have the proof. Believe me, we got it. Demand that proof. This is about Abby and Libby. You all should do better. You should be better. You should only present the truth and definitely not lie in this way. Because every time you do, I will show it. exposing Indiana's pedophile protectors and Dropbox defenders. This is how an online team controls everything. And if you're actually interested in that, go back and look at my playlist. I would highly recommend a couple to you right now. d0phiL murders, exposing the massive PR campaign controlling the narrative. d0phiL murders, weird shit. The Club of Lafayette, Delphi. Garrett Kurtz and exposing the Delphi troll farm. Please check out my playlist. If you're curious, if you want receipts, go find them. And there's more to come. And like I said, stay tuned, because I think in the next coming days, you're going to be in for some surprises. Facts matter. Words matter. Receipts matter. Evidence matters. We can go on and on and on, and you can go on and on and on, making wild and outrageous claims. The proof is in the pudding. And you guys ain't got shit. With that being said, God bless and good night, everyone. God bless Libby and Abby. Cheers.
This stuff's coming to a close. There are more than one person involved with this case. It's not just Richard Allen. There's several others, and we've all seen them on TV and been interviewed and spoken about way back in the beginning. Law enforcement has known about these people, but they have to methodically build a case.
Oh my God!
Prof is a fucking terrorist. A fucking pedophile, sympathizing fucking terrorist.
It's not productive. It's kind of gross and icky. And I feel like it tells us more about them than the people they're trying to degrade. They're always trying to degrade someone.
It was our job to help law enforcement. It was our job to help law enforcement. It was our job to help law enforcement.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Oh my God!
In the days since police made this tragic discovery, the Delphi community has been coming to terms, I should say, with a painful reality. Eyewitness News reporter David McAnally went back to the scene of the crime today, where neighbors still don't understand how this could happen to two young girls. Dave?
As police continue a very methodical investigation here, going down every road in the search for clues, some folks who live near the crime scene, they fear that their road will never be the same. The crime scene Thursday, a place property owner Ron Logan knows well, but never thought he would know for something so tragic.
I can't really wrap my emotions around it. It's just so mind-boggling. I haven't really caught up. It hasn't caught up with me.
Up and down the hills, across that bank now circled with crime tape, his son grew up playing here.
Never in your wildest dreams do you think if he comes down here to play, he won't come back home.
He and his friends grieved for the victims, Liberty German and Abigail Williams, both 13.
That's why we come back. He goes, I want to show you what it looks like. You couldn't carry someone up and down these hills. It's hard to walk by yourself.
We've been able to identify almost everybody else that's been on that trail, and this gentleman has not been identified, and we want to know what he saw, what he might have seen on the trail. Did he see somebody else that maybe some of the others didn't see?
The sheriff's department says the trail photos of a man released Wednesday have brought in about 200 tips, and they're checking every one of them, they say. Police want to talk to the man because he was on the trail about the same time as the victims.
I think they feel confident that we're going to get this guy or guys that were involved in this, and I think they're feeling confident that it's going to happen sooner than later.
Back at the crime scene, hoping for answers.
This place is never going to be the same. It'll never be the same, will it? I mean, everybody will be, they'll be very vigilant now from here on out when they come down here.
All right, that's David McAnally tonight in Delphi. Now, here's another look at the man police are so desperate to talk to. Again, they have not said he's a suspect or a person of interest. Instead, investigators believe that he is the only person they haven't identified who was in the area at that time. Now, if you were in the area that day or you know anything that could help solve this case, police do want to hear from you. They've set up a new tip line for information about the murders of Libby and Abby. All tips should be called into that number, and you can remain anonymous. You see it right there on your screen. The number is 844-459-5786.
Obsessed, junkie, stalker. They are the most fucking unhinged creatures on earth.